Our story kicks off with a seasoned fisherman, quite used to the rhythm of the sea, setting out for another day of fishing. As he throws his net into the water, things start to go wrong. The net gets trapped deep under the sea. The fisherman decides to dive in and untangle it, but gets encircled by a massive school of fish, unable to surface. Elsewhere, a woman who takes care of a lighthouse is engrossed in a phone conversation with her peers in Germany, discussing world affairs. Suddenly she spots an anomaly on her computer screen, cutting her call short. She rushes off to see what's going on. Meanwhile, Charlie, an adventurous character, has to plunge into the sea to recover a sensor that's got caught in fishing nets from a boat named the Judy Boy. But this isn't the only strange event going on. Odd things are unfolding in Canada too. Leon, a young scientist passionate about whales, receives a call about a massive killer whale stranded on Vancouver's city beach. After carefully examining the creature, he hurries to the local fishing pier. He wants to identify the culprits who inflicted severe cuts on the whale. An elderly fisherman guides Leon to his boat, revealing the chewed-up side of his ship, caused by an attempt to flip the massive killer whale. Leon has his doubts about the old man's tale, but the latter convinces him that they had no choice but to fight off the whale for their own survival. Back at sea, Charlie, along with a newfound ally, release a refurbished sensor into the ocean. Their mission is to monitor marine life. They spot fragments of methane ice floating around their boat, a common sight, but there seems to be an unusual abundance today. Eventually, Leon starts hearing whale calls. Reports start coming in that whales have been spotted at multiple spots along the coast. Excited by this news, he phones his girlfriend Lizzie, a tour guide who's already out at sea, showing tourists the wild killer whales. Just then, a colossal whale emerges beside Leon's boat. After a brief still moment, the mammoth creature dives back under, only to be replaced by a whole pod of killer whales. Lizzie seizes this opportunity to take the tourists on deck for an unforgettable sight. Adding to their excitement, a massive humpback whale surfaces close to the ship, leaving the tourists utterly mesmerized. The unusual antics of the giant whale enthrall the crowd, all except Leon. He senses something isn't right and tries to alert his friend, but it's too late. The whale's next maneuver slams into the middle of the boat. Racing to the wreckage, Leon attempts to rescue the survivors, but finds a pod of killer whales preying on the terrified tourists. Despite his best efforts, he can't save his girlfriend Lizzie. Curious to hear the rest of the story? Please subscribe, and now I'll tell what happened next. Our story then takes us to a French eatery. After sourcing fresh seafood from the market, the head chef starts preparing lobsters. Suddenly, one of the lobsters squirts an unidentified substance at him. Shaking off the surprise, the chef wipes his face and carries on cooking. But by evening, he, along with two younger chefs, fall sick. Unfortunately, the head chef doesn't survive the night, while the two younger ones are rushed to the intensive care, with doctors scrambling to identify the cause. Meanwhile, out at sea, a Norwegian ship is investigating a peculiar phenomenon, a swarm of ice worms. Some specimens are hoisted up to the surface for a closer look, revealing a unique trait. They possess jaws and multiply at an alarming rate. A group of experts come together, reaching a consensus that they've stumbled upon a new species of worms and bacteria. Back on land, Leon meets the owner of a fishing boat, who tells him about the humpback whales attacking other boats the day before. Moreover, Leon is shown something strange. The bottom of the boat, fresh from the sea, is layered with a dense coating of shellfish, an occurrence he's never seen before. A team of scientists, intrigued by these anomalies, send a sampler to the seabed to examine the area where the worms were discovered. But a methane leak triggers an explosion. The ship survives the blast, but the crew is thoroughly shaken up. They're startled, not just by the incident, but also the findings from the seabed. They find bacteria that consume ice and can travel all the way to the ocean floor, along with an unusual heat signature. Jazz, another character in our story, is recording a video message for Charlie when the comm is disrupted. The monitors display concerning data, hinting at an incoming strange event. Suddenly, the water beneath the ship starts to bubble intensely, as if something is dragging it down to the ocean's murky depths. Then we're whisked away to the romantic city of Venice. A young man passionately recites poetry on a bridge when his book slips out of his hands, splashing into the canal below. However, the book is quickly forgotten, as an even more bizarre spectacle unfolds in front of them. Countless gigantic jellyfish start to surface. Back to the investigations, analysis of the bacteria that infected the head chef unveils a new strain that thrives on blood cells. There are reports of additional fatalities. Leon, after visiting the coastal restaurant, decides to dissect the killer whale to investigate the potential impact of pollution on these majestic creatures, and to see if this could be causing their strange behavior. Inside the whale, nothing seems immediately alarming to the experts, but Leon discovers an unfamiliar substance in its brain. He sends this for further analysis. Meanwhile, another person succumbs to the mysterious infection, this time a young man working at a car wash. As the scientists piece together the events, they realize the deadly bacteria might have spread via the water supply system linked to the restaurant. News of more whale attacks reach Leon. On studying a map, he notices a trend. The whales' bizarre behavior aligns with their migration routes. To confirm his hunch, he sails to the area where whales take their rest. His dive almost results in disaster, but he manages to attach a camera to one of the whales and safely resurfaces. Meanwhile, Cigar learns that the Japanese scientists have also discovered the peculiar worms, but they've been keeping it under wraps. The footage from the attached cameras is simultaneously reviewed in 2 separate labs. Leon's footage reveals that the whale pod dived to the seafloor where they encountered some strange luminescence. As they continue their research, an unexpected incident unfolds in a distant, small coastal village. Scores of crabs start to swarm the streets. An additional glimpse into the seafloor finally begins to unravel the mystery surrounding these unusual happenings. As the story unravels, it's revealed that an oil and gas corporation had been drilling into the ice in a restricted area, causing significant damage to several kilometers of the seafloor. Leon, attempting to gather more shellfish for analysis from a ship at the heavily guarded port, ends up trespassing. He's caught by security and promptly arrested. "Good morning, Mr. Sato," the Japanese owner of the ship reaches out to Leon. He cautions him against such intrusive actions in the future, but also offers him access to all necessary materials for his research. Meanwhile, Charlie finally gets to see the video message recorded by Jess just before the calamity struck. Once she regains her composure, she notices something unusual in the footage, a peculiar glow behind the porthole. Elsewhere, crabs from different parts of the world, which have been mysteriously appearing on land, are brought to the lab. As predicted, they too are found to contain the strange, blood cell-eating substance. Charlie watches the video multiple times, sensing something is off but can't pinpoint what. Then it hits her. There's a sound that eerily matches that from the deep-sea recording. She presents this observation to her colleagues in the lab. However, her stern superior, Katerina, dismisses the idea, considering the matching sound in different recordings to be mere coincidences. She instructs Charlie to wrap up the work and prepare to shut down the station for the winter. However, after taking some time to reflect on Charlie's observations, Katerina decides to give the hypothesis a chance. A helicopter carrying a team of scientists and deep water equipment arrives at the island. Sigur delivers the equipment to the island and hands it over to Charlie, intending to depart right after. But as he's about to leave, urgent messages from the mainland reach the scientific community on the island. They manage to get hold of Sigur and break the news to him. A catastrophic tsunami is rapidly approaching the coast. Witnessing the imminent danger, those present know survival is unlikely. Siegor manages to alert Charlie in time, and they manage to escape. Meanwhile, at a scientific conference, a report is presented, revealing that the newly discovered bacteria are deliberately infecting humans. The threat is so grave that people may need to distance themselves from any water source. Leon tries to relay this to his friends among the fishermen, but none are willing to abandon their life at sea, opting to face their fate in a familiar environment instead. At the conference, Rahim accompanies Leon. Top minds have gathered to try and understand the bizarre occurrences. Many concur that an unseen force is attempting to expel humans from the ocean. Katerina, however, disagrees. Rooted in years of expertise and scientific understanding, she insists that the team search for a rational, science-backed explanation. Despite Katerina's objections, the group goes public with their theory. They convince the government that marine life infected with the bacteria is consciously attacking humans. They've even named this new, seemingly sentient entity. However, top officials respond with skepticism and urge the team to seek more scientifically sound solutions, rather than trying to negotiate with an unidentified entity. In these trying times, astrophysicist Samantha Grove extends her support to the scientists. She has meticulously reviewed the report and agrees with the theory that the peculiar sound appearing in various recordings could be a form of alien language. Her team has also picked up a similar signal coming from Antarctica. Mifuno, a Japanese magnate, also finds merit in Siegor's theory and agrees to fund his mission, hopeful that it could potentially save the world. Sigor gathers his team and announces the commencement of their mission. He advises everyone to carefully evaluate the risks involved. Those brave enough to take up the challenge will embark on an expedition to the Arctic in 48 hours. Each scientist heads home to bid farewell to their families, informing them of the forthcoming journey. Many family members plead for them to stay, but everyone knows that this could be their last opportunity to set things right. The researchers have estimated that the highest concentration of the sentient bacteria resides in an Antarctic valley, a place where they might have existed undisturbed for millions of years. As they gear up to establish contact, each scientist plays their part, while also granting interviews to an eager journalist. Then, the ship's equipment begins to emit a buzzing noise, a sign of interference. The team readies themselves to intercept a signal from the enigmatic entity. At the dining table, Sarah Mifuno, an assistant, confesses to Leon that she wouldn't have given their theory a second thought if it hadn't been for her boss. She believes in her employer's intuition, which has proven to be unerring over the years. Meanwhile, Samantha proposes an idea. She plans to mix a human child's scream with the organism's sound signal and play it back to the entity as a sign of their willingness to communicate. Charlie, eager to witness this event firsthand, persuades a colleague to accompany her to the ocean floor in a diving apparatus. As the ship anchors, the team initiates the transmission of their audio message. At the same time, the brave duo prepares for their deep-sea dive. Everyone aboard the ship eagerly awaits a response. Suddenly, they detect movement on the radar, and a sonic signal registers on their sensors. The two in the diving capsule struggle with faulty fans and dwindling oxygen supplies. They try to communicate this to the bridge, but the line is dead. Luther, the lead pilot, is ready to abort the mission, but Charlie spots something stirring and switches off the lights in anticipation. Back on the ship, they too observe something approaching. Sigur insists that the captain reel in the submarine, but communication with the dive team remains cut off. Feeling the increasing risk, Luther makes the decision to ascend. Back on the ship, a hatch swings open to welcome the diving capsule into its specially designed compartment. During this process, Charlie spots an odd luminosity surrounding them. However, she chooses to keep this observation to herself for the moment. Simultaneously, Samantha excitedly announces that they've successfully made contact. The audio signal they sent has returned, only this time, the child's scream has been modified, suggesting the intelligent bacteria grasped the human's attempt at communication. Meanwhile, Dr. Chase is fully engaged in his search for a cure to help those already infected by these unusual bacteria. Luther, in a conversation with the journalist, insists he didn't see anything unusual during their dive. He suggests that Charlie's visions were likely illusions sparked by her belief in the existence of an underwater intelligence. Despite Luther's skepticism, Samantha continues her efforts to decode the underwater entity's messages, hoping to craft a response that the unknown beings would comprehend. As the journalist spends time in the compartment housing the diving capsule, he notices a similar glow in the pool. Suddenly, the ship's lights flicker and die, and a wave of static interference sweeps through their systems. When power is restored, they find the journalist's lifeless body slumped over on the monitor screen. As Dr. Chase tries desperately to revive the young woman, he spots a liquid similar to cerebrospinal fluid on her lips. Samantha informs the team that during the power outage, an unnoticeable low-frequency signal surge occurred. More critically, according to the astrophysicist, the signals seem to have originated from within the ship itself. While Charlie listens to her colleagues' discussions, she struggles to gather the courage to confess her observation, that they might have inadvertently brought the bacteria on board. Later, Leon visits a young girl, Alicia, whose body is now marked with peculiar spots. Dr. Chase enlists Leon and Sarah's assistance to restrain the girl while she extracts a sample of spinal fluid for testing. Finally, Dr. Chase shares the test results with the team. The mysterious substance previously identified in marine creatures was also found in Alicia's spinal fluid. The doctor theorizes that the bacteria were attempting to integrate with Alicia's cells, prompting Charlie to admit her suspicion about the strange glow entering the ship with them. Samantha crafts a new communication for the Earth's mysterious residents, this time incorporating an audio image from astrophysicist Charlie. Without seeking approval, Charlie heads down to the sealed section of the ship. As she does so, the pool begins to glow once more, its light taking on strange and unique shapes. Simultaneously, Samantha receives a returned message from the mysterious entities, which surprisingly contains an image. The ship gets a visitor, Mr. Mifuno, who lands his helicopter on deck, keen to be present for the unfolding revelations. Sigur shares with him the pool camera footage and the image returned in response to Samantha's message. Analyzing the image, Samantha believes it to be a representation of a super ocean that encircled a supercontinent millions of years ago. According to the team's interpretation, the entity's communication seems to remind humans that they've been existing on Earth much longer, and all they request is for their ocean homes to be left undisturbed. Despite the tension, there's a ray of hope. Given that the entities are responding to their communications, the team sees a chance to negotiate a peaceful agreement. Concurrently, Dr. Chase develops a potential antidote capable of eliminating the bacteria attacking blood cells. However, this development sparks a debate within the team. Mifuno suggests testing the substance in the pool, and if successful, aims to obliterate the mysterious entities completely. Sigur opposes this plan, insisting they should hold off until negotiations are exhausted. Dr. Chase proposes a compromise: trial the antidote in the pool, but not rush to deploy it in the open ocean. The entire crew gathers to witness the experiment. As Dr. Chase releases the antidote into the pool, the water starts to bubble and emits a dreadful screech, causing the glass to shatter. The ship's captain receives alarming news that the ship's systems have failed, and they are aimlessly drifting in the Antarctic waters. To compound their troubles, icebergs now encircle the ship. As the vessel collides with an iceberg, an unexpected blue glow transports it elsewhere. The captain swiftly orders the engines to be fired up in a desperate bid to escape the control of the mysterious entities. The captain remains puzzled, unsure why they wouldn't just dump all the antidote they have into the water. But Seago tries to reason with him, explaining that the current predicament is a direct consequence of his reckless experiment in the pool. He further emphasizes that there won't be enough of the substance produced globally to cleanse the entire Earth. Their only viable option is to broker a peace agreement. As the team debates the best way to communicate their intentions to the mysterious entities, their ship is trapped within a cluster of icebergs. In a desperate bid to signal their commitment to peace, Charlie rushes to the capsule intending to deliver Luther's body to the entities, a gesture of absolute submission. However, once she reaches the depths, Charlie alters her plan. She injects a substance into her own heart, hoping to synchronize with the mysterious life forms, then opens the capsule door. Luther's body is immediately controlled by the entities, and the ice barriers around the ship give way, while an overwhelming display of brilliant lights surround Charlie underwater. Sometime later, Charlie manages to steer the ship to an uninhabited island. She awakens, her eyes glowing an intense blue as she gazes towards the sky. This is where the serious events come to a halt. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments what you think of the ending of this movie. I guess YouTube didn't show you my other videos. Here are two I think you'll definitely like. So take your pick and watch.